I want to share with you one of my favorite case studies. I really like this example because it shows you how to use a strategic growth plan, what's called an SGP, to get a higher value paid for your business. In this case, the owners actually got paid for the future of their business without taking on the cost or the risk of making that future happen. The company's name was Metagroup, and it was owned by a husband and wife team who had operated the business for almost 30 years. They were equal partners, but on totally opposite pages. The company's sales were just under $2 million, and the owners were taking about $250,000 for both salaries and profits. So the business was relatively profitable, but the owners knew they could be doing better. The owners engaged Generational Consulting Group to help them grow their business. Now, you should know that the intentional approach to growing your business, the kind a successful growth consultant uses, consists of just 3 steps: assess, build, and execute. During the assessment, the consultant found some good things. He found that Metagroup had numerous medical device products that had been approved for marketing and that the company had no debt. The consultant also determined that the company's biggest problem was it only had one salesman, the husband. The consultant developed the strategic growth plan with the owners, and to be blunt, the plan had some of the most aggressive growth goals I've ever seen. It projected revenue growth from approximately $2 million to $20 million in just 5 years. The SGP outlined how Metagroup would increase its sales staff, implement a better marketing strategy, and improve its distribution capabilities. But there was a problem. The owners needed a way to pay for this kind of explosive growth. The husband wanted to pay for the growth himself, securing a home equity loan and using that money to fund the plan's execution. The wife, well, she was burned out. Her exact words were, "I deserve to get out." In fact, she told Generational that all it would take for her to agree to sell the business was if someone was willing to pay them $500,000. The M&A experts at Generational worked with the owners and came up with an approach to market the company to a limited pool of potential buyers. These buyers were all in the medical device industry, had significant sales forces, and the financial ability to close the deal. The winning bidder was a publicly traded company listed on the NASDAQ that was 200 times Metagroup's size. After some intense negotiating, the buyer agreed to pay $4 million in cash and retain the husband's services for 10 years. His consulting agreement was guaranteed for $150,000 a year. Not a bad deal for a company with EBITDA of around $100,000. Obviously, the wife was ecstatic. Remember, she was willing to sell for just $500,000, and she got 8 times that amount in cash. The husband worked the first year training salespeople and attending sales meetings, and then decided his wife was having too much fun being retired. So they asked their deal maker Generational to see if the buyer would pay out some of the remaining contract. Believe it or not, the buyer agreed to pay off the entire consulting agreement in a single lump sum payment of $1.35 million. That means the couple actually got paid $5.5 million for their company, or 11 times their minimum value. Another way to look at this is they got paid 55 times their initial EBITDA of $100,000. Things worked out really well for the buyer too, as they were able to grow their newly acquired division from just under $2 million in sales to $20 million, the plan's goal, in just under 2 years. There are 2 big lessons you can take from this story. The first is that an optimal buyer is interested in acquiring businesses because of what that buyer can do with the business in the future. In this case, a small company's big problem, a lack of a sales force, became the small problem of a big company. What would have happened to this couple if they had not put in the time and money to build a plan? What if they had not put the plan in front of multiple qualified buyers? What if they had tried to self-fund their growth using money from their own house? No one knows, of course. But the second lesson is that with a properly developed and documented strategic growth plan, a business owner can sell the company and get paid for the future without taking on either the cost or the risk of making that future happen.